Meeting is being live streamed, so let's pin our post. Not process. What? Nice. Okay. All right, we'll get started real soon. Dang, Instagram, what's up? Out of confinement, out of jail. Okay. All right, we'll get started real soon. Dang, Instagram, what's up? Out of confinement.
What's up, IG? Tap in, man. It's the one and only MasterMyCellf. Going live from IMC San Jose, basically on 408. Y'all know what it is, man. Basically, tap in. Talking about my experience here in San Jose. And, got the famous young Chris there. Y'all tap in, so we want to join
Zoom. Oh, I need to mute this feedback. All right, I'm about to place it down. Juggernaut, how do we know each other? All right, guys here on the YouTube, what are you doing there? Join the Zoom. There you go. Like, share, and let's get going. And you did you post to the Telegram groups also? I did. Like reminding them right now? Yeah. Okay. Do you have Telegram on that? I do. You could also post in the main website of camp. Where's the camp this month? Oh, I don't have it. You're not on? Oh, yeah. Yeah, but where are they? Where's Josiah and Luna and they've obviously heard enough with you and Sultan and Fernando. All right, let's start. Got a bunch of people across platforms. That was a graceful volume out. I was really digging it. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. I don't think I was able to pin mine. All right. Record a cloud when you're done.
lighting situation.
Yes, it is. Looks a lot better.
Yes, sir.
Tapped in. What's up, everybody? This is Enlightened Masculinity podcast show. As one of my staff members used to write on all the descriptions, he would call it podcast show. And we're here with MasterMyCellf, Jordan Amari. We had him on a recent episode, and on many past episodes, and you're going through your base leader training right now. And so we want to tap in with this outsider experience of living here at base one, and some breakthroughs, maybe changes that you've experienced. We could, as rapidly as we want to talk, we could go through your living arrangement. We could look at your schedule, whatever is really interesting, because we're hella tapped in right now. So we want to give that value to you guys, give you an experience, because this is unlike any other experience on earth. I'm the captain of IMC Nation, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, Yogi Chris PhD, and I live here at Base One Stoic Temple in Campbell, California, with the founder of IMC Nation, Arash Pardibazar. And he's lives next door to me. So this way of living is kind of like how I would, there was back in the day when you would have summer break in school, but then there was also back in the day, when I would just sit around, play video games and smoke weed all day. And there was also a back in the day where maybe I was at a wrestling training camp or a soccer training camp, and it was like 3 sessions a day or 4 sessions a day. And all day I'm like in my wrestling gear and my wrestling shoes, and I have 2 pair, they're sweaty, so I got to alternate them. And like all day I'm about that thing. And so I'm not on drugs, I'm not wrestling, it's not what's happening in those stories, but there's a similarity where it's like my life is fully about this thing, and yet it seems to be fully flexible according to whatever I want to do. I get out of it what I put into it. And so in those ways, I'm unplugged from the matrix. It's not that, I'm so enlightened, or that I'm able to warp things, or that it's a mindset, and it comes through consistency, because I'm not on summer break for 3 months. I'm on my life for the last 7 years, gradually, incrementally changing it to be a certain way. That's almost like, it's better than when you're on vacation, because vacation has all this stress of travel and everything. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, where I want to do it. And I'm on my own schedule every day, and I have my things that I look forward to, and I'm building greater every day. I'm looking at my bank accounts, looking at my relationships. I'm looking at the future activities that I have lined up for myself. And I'm like, man, I am in control. I am growing. And this is unplugged in the way that this is how I mean. So MasterMyCellf has, aka Jordan Amari, is from Phoenix. He's founded Base 5 Phoenix there, being the energy that's organizing that. And I help. And I was commenting earlier on our meeting that, of all the bases, now, base one, I have immense help in getting that. AZD wouldn't have done that on his own, and I don't know how long it would have taken the other guys to do it. I did it, and they helped also, like tremendously. Like the guys that are living with you are helping. They're not helping. They're contributing mental energy, money energy, energy, and for sure. But then there's like, who's making it happen? Now, base 5 is different than how base 1 is, because somebody's buying it. You guys, but in the meantime, while that house is being purchased, you're in Airbnb, which is a pretty simple arrangement. So what makes this so different from the rest of the planet, and here the enthusiasm, we talk about it because there's a certainty, is and a confidence in my competence to explain it, because I practiced. So I know how it's going to deliver. It's like I know how the high single is going to shoot and how the snap down is going to work. I've done it. So adult alpha males living together, having loyal relationships outside of their living arrangement. They don't live with women, and that's the basic of it. There's other, like here at base 1, we sleep on the floor. We don't have beds. I don't think that all the bases are like that. And we wake up at 6 a.m. here, from 5:30, some of us, and it's just everybody. Different bases are different things, and that psychologically, men and women don't really even know how to measure what it takes to do that. You try living with adults, and then I'll show you. You'll have a taste of what it's like, and then I'll show you how you're so out of communication. You're not moving as a unit. You're not feeling good emotions around your living dwelling space throughout the day, every day in and day out. And you know how I said I'm growing with myself, I'm growing with my group that I'm living with. We are growing, and it's very exciting. So this is the movement we have created. Jordan is here on the 5th base of that we're creating here. 5 is a very powerful number. Check it out. 5 is a very, very powerful number. I got the 5-pointed star on my left palm. And so I'm interested to hear, from his perspective, what's going to be creating, where he's at, what's changed about being here. And I'll add to it that a lot of it's going to happen once you leave, because you're in a cocoon here. You're in this echo chamber of good vibes and good, as soon as you step out, you realize the resonance that you create internally in the house dwelling space when, man, the whole house is yours. And it's like you were on summer camp or some fake, you know what else it's like? It's like senior week. We had senior week in Maryland, where after you graduate senior year high school, for like 5 days or whatever, you go to, what was the beach there? It's by Salisbury, Maryland. It's Ocean City, Maryland. And I'm sure there's a couple ocean cities around the US, but this is Ocean City, Maryland, just south of Delaware, just north of Virginia, way over, not on the bay, but on the Atlantic coast. Senior week. So early June, late May, just seniors, you're seniors there in town. And it's like, it's kind of like that, but we're just not wasted like that. It's different. It's just, that's the freedom that you feel. And that's what I feel. Anyway, I hand it over to Mr. Damari, MasterMyCellf.
Yes, sir.
Black Panther, IMC.
Yes, sir. Tapped in. So thank you for having me again. Long introduction, but well appreciated, of course, and well said. Some of the biggest things that, gathering this from what you were saying is some of the things that I know for sure that will be integrated is, the lifestyle, like you were saying, being unplugged, from the matrix or what have you, and having that integrated into the lifestyle. Like I have a real reference for what that looks like through, of course, your experience, but also, AZD. And, so having had that reference and having a space to come to, it's a sacred space. That's how I treat it. I think that's how it's treated here. It's really powerful because, just being here, being in the space, allows the at least for my soul, my spirit, I feel and recharging, taking effect and so on and so forth. So like you were saying, being in this cocoon, and moving out of it will be an experience in itself that, I know that like the moment my steps, step out of the bounds of even being in the city, things will begin to, settle in and take new form, I think, from the inside and what have you. So moving forward, what creations are to come out of this is, a lot of collaboration, a lot of, transferring of consciousness or understanding and, knowledge, I would say, to the other brothers that weren't around and, gathering such level of experiences, just being around all of you, seeing how you coordinate, seeing how you run your schedule every single day and doing what it is that you do every day, sticking to it, whether there's women involved in it or not. Of course, there's women involved in everybody's life here. But essentially just seeing how you integrate that with your schedule, with your personal schedule, and your routines and your practices and just the whole lifestyle, man. So it's been a lot of
like, what are some moments, maybe if you can, maybe not moments or examples of like a kind of like what has stood out to you about being integrated in any of those aspects? Yeah. Anything that you could share?
Yeah, so well, just the integration, of course, how everybody moves when there's a woman in the environment, right? And the coordination and the communication about, hey, I got such and such, coming and collaborating in the sense of everybody, is going to operate in a certain way, because we have codes and ethics in that sense, right? So that, of course, when we leave, leave base and we leave as a group, as a complete mastermind, and we get in the car to go to the venue. There's a coordination that happens there. There's a spontaneous movement. There's a shift in the way that everybody moves.
Do you see how you could or would lead that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
In Phoenix.
Yes, 100%. Because that's That's what I have reference for now. So I know I
Leading that.
will definitely, yeah.
You're the leader of that.
Yeah. For
Here,
sure.
you're the recipient of it. So you
Very true.
lead it. So that's it's different. But you see, and you know, that's why, where are they? You know?
Yeah. Steps, you know. So when I get there, you get what I'm saying, to Phoenix, you know, that'll be a conversation that'll be had. So that, you know,
Just send them the
clear
recording.
gap.
You gotta, yeah,
True.
they need to watch this. I tell you what,
Definitely that.
man, they should have at least listened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, you're telepathic now. Look at that. Yeah, I saw it. Actually, I saw the matter go through the air. And what was it? What was I gonna say? They should have at least.
Listen here.
No, I would have said that they should have at least checked in with you if they were gonna miss.
Well, yeah.
That is irresponsible, because come on. What's going on?
Definitely. No, 100%. And and so that's, you know, more me being aware of the opportunity to do that. You know, but that's something that I enhance or require for, you know, certain level of meetings or what have you, right? So this this meeting, you know, of course, being open to everybody, I had to set that standard, but that's something that I would do with them in particular, right? So I can.
And they may even have every intention to watch the recording. It's a level of communication of checking in.
Right.
That's why they got to come to Guardian training. And you're going to be coming back because you're not fully base leader yet, but you're going to get a nice big ass certificate. Najim's designing them, and they're going to be signed off. And it's once you get the base in order. So it's not going to come right away, but you'll complete your training and then you'll get it in order.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, this is learning how to, you know, take those different pieces and translate it to, you know, the way of living, you know, that we've established thus far, and seeing how this technology will transfer into not just Phoenix, but then, you know, obviously to every other base that's established, you know, hereafter, you know, so.
Yeah, and it keeps developing. You know, very interested in what you do with Phoenix and shape those guys up and get your stuff out there and, you know, just create and entrepreneurialize and go out and game and organize your life and, you know, just build and build and build and pour all your energy into it, like relentlessly, like you're just on an IV drip of energy drink all the time. And, you know, real excited to see like that, because there's going to be a permanency and a longevity and this impulse and energy behind it to create more responsibly than the other three bases. You have a different angle than everybody except for base one. And nobody's going to be able to compare to base one. So base 5 has this thing. More people have moved further, and more people have moved, and more people have moved further. And you know, and then the level of internal investment and responsibility and accountability for that is on a different level. And then the level of organization of the members as they're entering the base is more than the other bases, their level of organization individually before they entered the base. Much more creation there with groups, with business, especially business, entrepreneurial business, and within IMC also. So there's a lot of potential there. And then Phoenix as a city, that's unique. So all of that with the mix, very interesting situation. We want those guys up at Guardian level and making a lot of noise, putting a lot of production out there, making noise about base 5, the creativity, the camaraderie, the organization, intelligence, and communication level. Man, and then putting that out there, telegramming, TikToking, Instagramming, you know, capturing the enthusiasms of the moment and presenting them as aesthetically. Who's to say you can't have a fucking private moment at your base 5? Just with the guys. Why not? Why not? Now, Miracle J's done 2, and the other guys have done none. But you've been here and watched one. And I think Miracle J's maybe, and then you've also watched several online. You could do it. Why not? That's dope to me. That's a dope idea. And, you know, as you return, and the future looks bright, you know. So there's only so far forward that we can look reasonably. I mean, we spend a lot of time because there's a lot of unknowns that would inform the next step after that. And so we don't know what we don't know sometimes. Sometimes we know what we don't know, but really the contents of that we don't know. So there's always more unknown in that. And yeah, not enough can really be said about the create. Earlier we were brainstorming and I came up with these ideas just in dialogue with you. It sharpened my ideas about things, about the silent food sales funnel, about the click funnel for the camps, about splitting up my email list and marketing to that and differentiating my schedule. And all of that started with just differentiating my schedule. That's all I had on my own. Everything else came about through the conversation. So the more you talk about it, it becomes real in that way. And then you got to take action on it, like I was saying in the lecture. Like it's not just the imagining of it, it's taking action. And that's the part we underestimate, how much is needed. And the part we try to shortcut is if we just think to the conclusion, then we shorten how much action we need, because we find the crux point, the thing that matters most. That's the 4-hour work week concept of like sit and think about what you need to do, really, and plan it and find the bottleneck, I think he calls it, and do that. And I think a lot of people paralyze their movement trying to do that so much. Like there's so much avoiding just hard work. But there's a balance in that. Obviously you want smart hard work. So that's life. You figure out some things are wasted efforts, but you figure them out. And it's, but you're doing it, or if you're doing it for the money, then you will run out of steam at some point. So there's something else, and we find that we can explore that. Like a woman can't explore that outside of being in a relationship, because she's chasing things she needs to be chasing a relationship. And then the other things will be also passionate hobbies, but a good fulfilling relationship or activities that lead to a good fulfilling relationship is where she's going to be fulfilled. And I think that similarly, sounds weird. I don't actually have as much certainty about this, but it feels as right. It just feels also shaky. Is that man being able to live with other men is like how a woman being in a relationship. It's you won't be able to, you'll have other passions and hobbies, but exploring how to get along in the situation with other men. It doesn't make sense at a low level with the normies, but at a high level where we're philosophers, then when we find agreements in our philosophies, they're the depth of agreement in living that can happen that makes our life much more real. And the outside, they don't have agreement with their lifestyle. They're isolated, so there's no reality so they don't have a lot of weight in their lifestyle. They have to have other people agreeing to how they live. And so men get that with their wife or whatever, but then she starts disagreeing with how you're living, and then you get invalidated and your life becomes chaos according to her agreement or not. And that's so there you have it. That's what I'm realizing as I'm talking with you. What's up, everybody? Okay. So talking it out, we create things. And, all sorts of things will come: vehicle upgrades, female upgrades, housing or decorating or whatever upgrades, aesthetic upgrades, personal body upgrades, and nutrition, mental development upgrades, the occupational upgrades and what you're doing, your schedule. I like to think of those as schedule upgrades. And so the schedule is like a segmented parts of the day, and I upgrade each of those, or I rearrange it so that the overall day is upgraded. And that's how I approach my schedule, my day and life and everything. Yeah, that was powerful, right? I should probably clip that out. Is DC on? Nah, DC's not on. Miracle J, I don't know, maybe we can clip it out. Okay, what else should be talked about? Is there any questions from the outside as far as basing up? And what's been the experience, or rather, what would you change? What are you going to change about the experience when you go back? Because right now you're in an Airbnb with 2 of the brothers, and then 2 more are moving in the next 3 weeks to make the base of 5.
Yeah, so definitely, when we get involved with, getting involved with activities, right now we haven't been going to like the gym. I think Josiah and Luna just started, going to the gym together the last couple of days since I mentioned it, so that'll be an activity I definitely want to take on that, because just going with Sultan and Fernando the few days that we did go.
Man, I still haven't done that. I need to do that.
It's a different environment. It's dope. it's another
Shit,
environment.
I gotta do that. You're making me miss my own life. I'm like, damn, I'm missing my own life here. They're going to the gym, so they don't invite me. I'm so busy, they say. They say, Chris, you're too busy. That's why we don't invite you. Let me reject you. Why don't you want to be rejected? Just let me say I'm too busy. I'm afraid to ask. I want to feel invited.
They don't want to do that. Yeah.
I know they don't want to do that because I'll show up.
Yeah, they'll push them for sure. Because I was pushing sometimes when we were out there. But yeah, so having those kind of activities to go to and make a ritual is something I think is essential. Just getting out and going, like we went to the mall yesterday, right? And that was
exhausting.
It was a lot, but it was great because it's another experience that you're going to a scenery, with another brother, and another opportunity to figure out how to better mastermind and work together and wingman. And
because you're coming back at least
forth.
one more time, and you'll have more from. It's amazing. You leave and you come back, you'll have more familiarity, much more comfort and familiarity with that venue, and with every venue, and it'll be more of a coming home. And then there's going to be. It's not just more of this. When you come back, it will be a whole new level of consciousness because of going back, developing, working the ideas out, what works, what doesn't work, and then new holes will be revealed and then come back. And it'll be you'll evolve, you'll see the evolution much more the next time you come back. And there'll be it's not going to be more of the same. It will be more of the same on the outside, sparing that there's some changes that happen gradually as we live. Like to our schedule and everything, but internally it will feel new, and there'll be a coming home feeling because there's a lot of comfort built here internally.
True. Very true. And so working out that process, but also I think projecting and looking forward as to how I can recreate, I guess, our own version of that in Phoenix as well. In terms of having that comfort feeling, being established in a base and connecting the dots. And
how do we do that?
Man, it's a good question. I think
full of them. I got lots of them.
I think definitely streaming, having the brothers stream their thoughts and ideals. I want to make mastermind meetings like a regular base, just within the base in itself. Like a regular, activity. If we don't have activities to necessarily go out to or don't feel like it at that point in time, we're making it a priority. I'll make it a priority to have, a base meeting, then and there. Like for those that are there in the actual base, aside from, the actual meetings that we do online as well with, the rest of the members that aren't yet tapped into Phoenix, so creating that space there, and I can definitely see that expanding and continuing to build on what it is we're already doing. Playing on that, and then I don't know, man, like definitely getting out there and having the outside activities, going to the park, doing the community nature with you, just it taught me a lot in the sense of you were flowing, you were formless out there in a sense, right? And that's what I was able to see. So, I can see myself doing that because I've done, my own version of that, what I thought that was. In the past, and that's been my own experience, but I can see now taking other brothers along with me in that process and still allowing them to have their own experience, because that's what you allowed me to do in that moment. So I can see that being applied in the same manner back in, Phoenix and different areas that I
what was your experience like? Yeah, we haven't talked about it. So you had your own experience. What was that? What was that like? If it was different, very different, if it wasn't that different, if it was just another experience, then it's no big deal.
No, I mean, it was definitely an experience just because, I had never done community nature, right? I don't know the specific instructions. I don't have context as to exactly what's happening, but I do have the eyes to witness what it is that you are doing. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So I can see it from the outside.
Yeah, plus you've been a fruitarian for like 4 months, so you're like very tuned in.
True, very true. It definitely has a big fact on, or a big effect on my psychology.
I dieted extremely. I wasn't quite a fruitarian, but I also
you were vegetarian. Though.
I did a lot. I did fasting, juice fasting, and I worked the body way different. You get real flexible. Come and talk to me about how clean you feel inside. You got to stretch it out.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, there's levels to it, as you can see, and so having that the reference of you just being out, it was like being in field, but actually being in field, like in nature. And, just playing with the environment, tuning into what was there, what was, possible to play with and whatnot. And I was able to see things from a different perspective, and for example, we were out there walking barefoot, and I had my toe shoes on initially. But that was something that, I made the decision to take off my toe shoes and just walk barefoot, you know, looking from the outside, you are, so comfortable doing that, in comparison to me, I was out there, stumbling and trying to hold myself together, because I'm walking on rocks and dirt and all this stuff. And you're walking like a beast and flawlessly, in the sense of you couldn't tell, it looked like you were walking on grass, the same, motion and whatnot. So I see something to measure, just in that moment. And that was something that, was an expansion of what it is that I can do, in terms of, being a leader in that sense as well, not just, every other way, right, when it comes to streaming and everything else, but just making every single aspect of my lifestyle that way, so in a leadership role. And I don't even know if you were intending to do that, but we just were there, and that's what happened.
I didn't really know how it would go. I've done a couple communities with other guys. I think Guerrero and Powerhouse, and everybody kind of did their own thing. They all also had the instructions. So I also gave you the instructions, and you were kind of following, but since it was a loop and there was a time limit, I kind of thought you would turn around and go back, but you kept going on the loop, and then that was fine. And yeah, it was very interesting for me, and yeah, good experience. So, all right, is there anything else? Any other comments from the live audience? Let's see if you guys anything. Five lives. Sure. Okay. I think there were a couple of good clips in there. The clip about the upgrading the schedule, and the clip just there about barefoot walking. And I think there was another little clip in there. So that's nice. Looking at growing the TikTok, whatever, you're getting an affiliate link, and I might spend, the next 20 minutes, like, posting a TikTok video or something. See how that goes. All right. We'll see you guys on the next one. I think you need to come and do base. So here's the progression of things, is the dragon. First, you get on the newsletter. You could click on the link if you're watching the podcast recording. There's going to be a link in the description, either on YouTube or on a podcast app. Click that and follow where it goes. Participate. Then Dragon's Lair. Once you're on the newsletter or on Instagram or something, you should join Dragon's Lair. It's $97. Maybe there's some communication that needs to happen between that and, just following on Instagram or joining the newsletter, but not much. I mean, when you get the value of the newsletter, or when you get on Instagram and you see what we're doing and what we're up to, and just a small conversation, a couple messages back and forth, you should see the value. And then I come back later and you should join Dragon's Lair. It should be an easy math, easy to figure out that this is what you want to do. And this is $97. Then when you have enough money, you want to do an advanced training. Probably you want to get familiar with Dragon's Lair a little bit. Just depends on how fast you learn, and everybody's different. So dive in, all the recordings, and attend all the lives if you can. If you can rearrange your schedule, because this schedule is consistent every day, 10 a.m. So Pacific time. So arrange your schedule so you can attend, catch up on the recordings. It'll change your whole mindset, how you think about things, how you think about relationships, how you communicate, how your reactions, your responses, emotional awareness, mental. I mean, it's just a lot. And it's a whole overhaul, and it's very congruent with nature and a successful, fulfilling life. Life not on the outside, on the inside, on the outside too, on the inside. And right on. So that's why you will eventually want to do the advanced training, because it's man, what's your life worth? Really, you should probably exchange at least $100,000 or $200,000 in really the lifestyle. Not you maybe invested a lot of money in getting an engineering degree like I did, but where was the lifestyle in that, besides a few activities like go in field and collect data, or go to the factory, or design this on a laptop, or travel and present some publication, or teach a class. A lot of it's just teaching a class, or paperwork, meetings, blah, blah, blah. That's the lifestyle of engineering. Like, it's so boring. And, you know, in it, maybe there's some things that are interesting, but the lifestyle here, changing and upgrading your lifestyle. First, you need to see a reference for what's different about it. And then you need to start piecing it together. And if you have no other reference, then your own mind becomes your reference. You imagine a better way, and that contrasts with what you're doing. And then you change, you upgrade. But here we're in a mastermind community, integrated mastermind community, IMC. And that's a cool one, right? I just made that up. Of lifestyle experts. These are, you know, of integration experts and practitioners, more so than any other men or men's group out there. There may be some advanced men, but they don't have a group like this. And so they fall short in the ranks. Their top player is not our top player. Their second place player is not our second place player. The third player, you know, because it's a team like that. And this is very powerful. We have the leverage on the world. And now we need to leverage the immediate resources around us to better leverage the world. You know, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're always masterminding about. So join. The link is in the description. I'll see you on the next one. Os. Find MasterMyCellf on Instagram too. That's also in the description.